Hey there viewers, my name's Torinski and welcome back to another DCSS Sunday. Today we're of course jumping back into the new usual routine and trying to get a 15 rune victory here. Where we last left off, we'd had a pretty successful beginning for our Demonspawn Lucifer, and so hopefully we can continue that trajectory today. There were some issues, most namely the severe lack of resistances, but maybe, just maybe, we can pull it together here and get through in one piece. But who knows what the dungeon has in store for us today, so without further ado, let's get ready to jump right back into it, shall we? Hello, my monstrous Demonspawn friend, and welcome back. Hey, Thalfun, did that include missing resistance to hubris? You find that one hard to find? Oh, definitely. I mean, it wouldn't be a DCSS Sunday without some severe hubris-related issues here. Hey, Dr. Pirate, how's it going? But okie dokie, we had left off in Vaults 2 here. We'd done a couple of floors, and they went alright for us. We have Spellforged Servitor and Orb Destruction, always a fantastic little wombo combo there. And I believe we were training up for Ignition, but still a long way off. Unfortunately, pretty, I guess, relatively low intelligence for this stage in the game, so our cast rates are a little bit trashed here. Even Spellforged Servitor, it's not as good as I'd like. It doesn't have to be great, we're not casting this spell that often, but under 20% failure rate could be nice. So one thing I was debating when I was doing my little recap earlier today, trying to remember where we left off, was wondering if we should maybe train a bit of spellcasting. Could go with summonings, but spellcasting kind of helps across the board here. We'll bring down the failure rate. I think we'll bring it up just a point here. We'll see how that goes. And let's do this, shall we? No better way to warm up than plunging our fist into danger here, so let's go for it. And okie dokie. Wonderful start. At least we're pretty well suited against non-elemental weak enemies here. Originally we were relying far too much on just fire magic to get us through, so it's nice to have a little bit of a mixture going on now. Definitely makes me feel a bit safer about our prospects moving forward. But we'll see if we can bear that out as we continue. And wow, that was quite the curveball we threw with that Orb of Destruction. Interesting. But let us do this, my Spellforged friend. We should be able to help out a little bit on our end while we're at it here. In fact, let's just aim for the big boys and hopefully get some work done. I'm worried that we'll very quickly start taking some heavy damage here, but as long as our Spellforged friend has our back, we should be okay in the long run. And beautiful. Let's just get out of the way, make sure that that Orb Destruction doesn't come careening my way. And we're still wearing our electricity resistance, so we should be okay against this son of a gun. Hello, my friend. The fact that we've not failed a single Spellforged Servitor yet, you know, seems at face value like a nice prospect, but I'm worried that we're just using up all of our luck now. Things are gonna get rough as we get a mark on us. 9% chance. Oof. Well, we happened to nail that one right on the head just as it came into effect here. So let's get ready to deal with an entire floor of vaults, shall we? Hopefully we can manage through it here. In fact, that was relatively quiet. Not nearly as bad as I expected, at least. So that's interesting. And let's launch off some fireballs here, shall we? Perfect. And then do we aim for you? I guess we might as well clear the air a little bit further here. Bring back in another one of our own friends just so we have the extra firepower. And that is fantastic. In fact, we can just kind of ring around the rosy, walk around a little bit, and let our dearest Spellforged Servitor do all the cleanup for us here. And hopefully that Orb Destruction kills you. Feel a bit more experienced. Fantastic. Absolutely love to see it. And rinse and repeat, shall we? Purely an inconvenience. Indeed, and I love to see it. Perfect. And let's just keep on keeping on here. I guess I can launch a few of my own spells while we're at it. Might as well, you know, make my own mark on this world. Fantastic. And we'll just keep on keeping on here. Beautiful. We of course had a pretty decent amount of protections in general here. Having 21 AC for spellcaster at this kind of mid stage in the game, quite wonderful. Very happy with that. And the shielding of 25 with reflection definitely has been working out in our favor so far here. So let's hope that we can keep that up for as long as possible. Another thing I was noticing when I was getting myself mentally prepped to come back into this run was the fact that we have a decent amount of consumables, all things considered. I'm used to being a little bit light in that department by this stage in the game, having burned through all of our blink scrolls, which, don't get me wrong, I think we did burn through quite a few of those bad boys in shoals on this run. Maybe I'm mixing up my runs, but that seems to be wriggling in the back of my mind. But we've managed to replenish them up to 5 blinking scrolls now, just tons of potions, which is, you know, that's a bit more usual for a Gozag run. When you can spend money to get your fill, usually means you have a bit more in the back pocket for when things get truly desperate here. So that is absolutely lovely to see as our fighting hits level 10 here as well. That's fantastic. And you know what, I'd rather be side by side with my servitor pal. There we go. Got a condenser vein at least, pretty good tool for vaults. It is indeed, and it's definitely gotten us out of some tricky situations already in this run. Having that from relatively early on has been an absolute godsend. So we get brutally poisoned here against that very ugly thing, but nothing we can't handle quite yet here. And thank you, my friend. Brilliant work out there. Absolutely fantastic. So hopefully the rest of Vaults goes pretty smoothly here as we keep training up towards a hopefully bright future for our lovely Lucifer here. Definitely step away from any walls since we don't have any cold resistance. We do have a backup option for that at least with our Ring of Cold, but of course anytime you're making yourself vulnerable to the other side of the spectrum, it can be a bit of a rough spot to find yourself in. So hopefully we just manage to murder everything before it even gets the opportunity to hurt us to any real extent, as I immediately start taking a bit more damage than I would like. Even that electricity coming down, not exactly ideal here. Let's slow down to think about this a little bit instead of just continuing to tab fight my way through each and every combat we come across, because this grouping here, once they get next to us, is going to be a pain in the rear. I mean, ideally, we can start throwing irradiates out by the time we get there, but still not exactly what we're looking for. In fact, maybe I'll throw one irradiate just against these fellas. Oof. And that's what I was afraid of as we're starting to get surrounded here. Didn't get quite as much damage off of that irradiate as I was expecting. We could fireball and injure our own Spellforge servitor a bit. Or not at all. Why did we not get a warning there? You're very resistant to fire, I understand, but still don't exactly want to be flinging spells your way, my friend. And now we're at the level of contamination that's not exactly ideal. Do we have Blink and I've just been forgetting to learn it? No, no Blink so far, because that of course would be very helpful in the long run here. Kind of hate to throw a condenser vein this early on, but I think I will, just to keep ourselves as safe as we possibly can here. That'll be a nice amount of damage onto all of our lovely friends here. And a decent amount of experience going towards the recharge of it as well, so not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination. There we go, we can just walk the heck out of there, heal up. Let's reset before the next fights here, shall we? One-on-one, I'm feeling pretty confident about our odds. AoE game, a little lackluster for the time being here. Hopefully getting Ignition will change all of that. Ooh, yes, and definitely don't want to be dealing with you, my friend. There we go. and by our powers combined, we shall deal with anything that comes our way. Oh, or not. Goodbye, my friend. And here I thought we were in it together for life. There we go. Much better. Oh my gosh, this Tengu is not fooling around. You're just blocking all of these, are you? Well, that's interesting. Usually Orb Destruction is kind of nice against Tengu because I believe it's undodgeable, so that helps out a great deal. Apparently, it's not the be-all end-all in this encounter here, but fortunately we can drop one of those and then mix that with an Ice Blast to hopefully just take care of you, and then we'll get the heck out of dodge so we can heal up in relatively safety here. Hey Sakuza, how's it going? Vaults indeed. We're getting there. It's all coming along here slowly but surely. And we can run a nice little loop here, just trying to gain as much ground from our new friends as possible. Or not, in that case. Let's play this safe, shall we? Head upstairs. A little bit of irradiation never hurt nobody. Hello? Who did we leave alive up here? Oh wow, would you look at that? Nameless horror just wandering about the level, no cares in the world here. There we go, and then we can quickly run around and gather up all of our cash. We'll head down a different stairwell so that we're not wandering into the open arms of all of our friendly gelatinous pals. And there we go, that is looking a little bit better now. Let's see, just need to kill this vampire as quickly as we possibly can. Oops, let's try that again. Yes, please. 4th time's the charm. There we go. Fantastic. Probably just want to walk away from you. I'm not feeling completely confident about that 22% failure rate on Spellforged, so we're going to play this a little bit safer here and just bring our friends on a lovely little journey. Bit of a gander throughout the level here. And that should just about do the trick. In fact, let's just walk up to you. Ooh, not as positive as I was expecting. Up to 30 damage off this son of a gun as well. As the flay's coming in, of course. Don't think flay can kill me, at least. Cannot kill directly. There we go. Fantastic. So in that case, we'll just keep running. Heading right back to our stairwell here. And yeah, 117 health missing there from what we would usually expect. And let's see, where did this stairwell go? I guess this is our last kind of safe haven that we know of for the moment. So let's head back this direction. And hello there, my new friends. Okay, shapeshifter, always a bit scary. Hopefully we can kill you before you keep changing into new forms here, new and exciting ways to murder us. Like that. We'll just walk away from the Rad Roach, and in fact, just walk away from this situation in general. It's a little less than ideal, as it were. And that's better. Oh, I feel like I should not head back up towards the stairwell, that we left a bit of a collection of old friends. Let's instead keep up the safe moves here, playing it a bit more cautiously, just because we do want to survive to 15 runes, if at all possible. You know, it would be nice, seeing as how we've gotten this character on a decent start up until this point. I mean, an incredible first couple floors of the dungeon, followed by a pretty kind of average mid-game. Definitely works for me. And we'll continue into this weird vault. I'm almost debating just leaving this section alone for the time being, seeing as how it's been a wee bit sketchy. Just huge numbers in terms of the density of enemies. An icy envelope takes form around us here, so that's the continuation of our ice shield. Gives us extra AC. Fantastic. So between that and our reflection bonus, we're looking at decent scores for both AC and shielding. Of course, that does go away if we do manage to come across any fire-based enemies, so hopefully that's not a problem that we have to contend with too much in the near future here. You know, Jahina kept aside for now. That'll be a bridge that we burn when we get there. I do love that everyone just follows us and ignores the Spellforge servitor, just lobbing consistent grenades their way. I must have bounced something in a weird spot back there. Whoopsie daisies. Hopefully nothing too crucial just went tumbling to the floor on my end, but single Draconian shouldn't be the end of the world here, even with our lackluster poison resistance. I guess we have enough curing that I probably should just murder you. Oh, and perfect. Nope, never mind, not perfect. A Spirit Guardian Amulet with int +6, but we are very close to dead, especially with no fire resistance. Okay, maybe shouldn't have played that one quite as cautiously as we did. Let's just blink out here. Potion Petition, looking for curing and heal wounds. That's wonderful. We have a lot of relatively safe floors, so I could read a teleport here and hope that we land somewhere in this general vicinity here. No guarantees, and worst comes to worst, we end up landing directly inside this vault, but I don't like the mystery of whoever's down here and the fire giant up there. A little bit less than ideal. So with that in mind, let's read a teleport and take me away. Okay. An exciting start to our evening here already, looking a bit more interesting than we otherwise might have liked, especially since we keep finding new friends up here. Excuse me? Where'd you go? Antenna, both very helpful for finding these sons of guns, but also kind of a pain in the butt, because normally I feel like I'd just ignore them and pretend, well, I guess I'd never know they existed. So there's that. But okie dokie, my friend. Excuse me? Spellforge servitor, are you okay? And once more for good luck. For good measure. Perfect. As spellcasting hits 13, so we consider that brings us not quite under the 20% failure rate that I was aiming for. So we could train a bit more in that department. Otherwise, we just bite the bullet and train some summoning. I guess it has a better aptitude, and that 13 happened pretty dang quickly, so maybe keeping that in mind, it's worth it to just quickly throw one of those bad boys out. Another nameless horror? How many of these did I leave wandering about? Because I'm assuming each and every one of them came from me failing to cast our servitors out there. Whoopsie daisies. But okie dokes, feeling refreshed, feeling good to go. Let's head once more into the breach here. And hopefully run into, there we go, our old friends in a bit of a more controlled environment. Fantastic. Even having our fire resistance equipped right off the bat helps out a great deal in my confidence in the matter. I guess that's the one bonus to us taking a bit of time between streams, because it's a bit harder to get overconfident when I'm suddenly almost blindly coming back into a run and forgetting exactly how it worked. You know, it keeps me in check a little bit, at least makes me second guess and think over some of the decisions that we make here, so that's wonderful. And hopefully is enough to keep us alive until the point where we have a bit more resistance, a bit more equipment up our sleeves. We should get a nice amount of treasure for clearing this lovely little area here, so that's always wonderful. No great spells there. More crystal plate armor. I'm pretty sure this isn't even the first one we found in this run. Something that never shows up when you need it, but that is just fine by me. Well, hello, my friends. Let's gain some good ground. Pass while underrated, pretty good spell to have. Right, I feel like that is one of the ones where if I was just slightly more proficient with it, everything that I've heard lends itself to that idea that it is a truly incredible spell. My favorite use of it is on like stealth stabbers, because you can do funky things like pass walling right behind your enemy for a quick backstab. Nothing personnel, kids, so that's wonderful. +3 scale mail of the moon. Fire vulnerability, just what we wanted in life. But let's see, airstrike, some lightning inspired lightning bolt. Nothing for me there. Statue form. Do we want to get into the transmutation forms at some point? I guess that would give me a electricity resistance and poison resistance, as well as, of course, the excellent armor class that comes with it. Ooh, probably would be worth it. Unfortunately, I'm starting to dip my toes into a few mini pools here. Kind of need to make up our mind at some point, because I want ignition up, of course. That's what we're trying towards right now. I also would love to have capacitive coupling, MCC, online by the time we get to the extended game. But again, who knows if that will be an option. Once you get through Pan, that's where things start to open up a bit, because you can always just spend some time there farming if you would really like to. So we pretty much have infinite EXP by that stage in the game and beyond, so maybe something we can think of there. If we can just get through Pan with our Orbs of Destruction and friends, then maybe we'll be okay. And this is an interesting opening here to Vaults 4. Quite the welcoming party. And if I'd ignite now, we'd be in business. This would be wonderful. We know there's one stairwell here, which means maybe there's a safe stairwell somewhere else on this level. Is it worth me heading up and finding out? I think I just might. Otherwise, we will potentially take a bit of a break from vaults for the moment here, and we'll come back when we're feeling a little more comfortable in our ability to deal with large groups. But of course, we do get a lovely differing entrance here, and now we can spread things out just a smidge. We should be feeling a bit more comfortable to just smash our way through like one does. Perfect. Even can combo in a couple fireballs. Can't let our Spellforge servitor have all the fun now, can we? And do I want to learn Pass Wall? How castable is it right off the bat here? Not great, but if we do go for statue form at some point in the future, then both those schools are going to be very much required regardless. So there's that, I guess, going for it. Okay, I definitely need you, my friend. Oh me, oh my. As we convulse here. Well, how cautiously do we want to take this? I mean, if we had Pass Wall now, potentially go through here, though I don't know if Metal Walls counts, unfortunately. Otherwise, what do we have? We could irradiate to just take out this gargoyle as fast as possible. Peacekeeper should go down as well. I guess our Spellforge servitor at least has more health than the two of these bad boys, so let's try it out, shall we? Even just taking out the gargoyle is absolutely fantastic. Do I want a preemptive potion petition? 3d25 on the crystal bolt. We're going to start taking a bit more damage as we continue on. I guess alternatively I could just heal. Just drink a potion the old-fashioned way. And how risky am I feeling? Let's just drink another heal potion here, shall we? Let's play it safely. Though this bolt of acid, very likely to take care of our new friend. There we go. And we'll rest up before continuing onwards and upwards to glory. Fantastic. Why, hello there, my new friends. Let's focus down you for our part. In fact, Spellforge Servitor seems to be on the ball there. Great work, my friend. And this is such a fun style of playing. I love Spellforge Servitor and Orb of Destruction. Such a wild and wacky combo. And so we'll just, I guess, continue in that vein as much as we possibly can. Nothing to fear but fear itself. And there we go. Get you out in the open so that our own orbs can also have a bit of a field day and try to replenish some of the money that we've been spending over the last little while here to stay alive. Let's, in fact, take all of you lovely folks on a bit of a rumble. Once we're in the open area, that's when Spellforge Servitor can come back into play for the sequel here. And by our hours combined, we should be in a pretty fantastic spot. Almost over that a 10k barrier on the money here, so that's lovely. And as long as these buddies are engaging us in close quarters combat, I'm not feeling too perturbed about it one way or another. In fact, oh hey, this is the spot that we had to run away from all those moments ago, I guess. And Ball of Lightning. So we'll switch back to the Staff of Air, bring back our resistances. One of these days, we'll hopefully not have to be hot swapping to get even a single resistance. But that is not this moment here. I was gonna say not today, but I would very much like that to be some point today. No rush, DCSS. I'm doing okay for the time being here. We're managing to kill things quickly enough that's not a big deal, but at some point, before we get to the extended endgame. Book of the Dragons, so we could bring in the Dragon's Form unarmed combat combo here, if we so desire. It's definitely strong, as always. Not so much Anguish and Feeble. Iron Shot is nice, but I believe we already own it. And Lahudib's Crystal Spear. Another potential option for our Spellforge Servitor to be throwing out here. It definitely gets some pretty wild damage. It's only 684 gold. So don't mind if I do. And we'll keep that Book of the Dragon in mind, seeing as how that's a fairly valid way to go through the late game, get some Manifold Assault action going. Hopefully nobody's too tired of that yet, even though I seem to run that any given opportunity. I mean, it's just so much fun at the end of the day, especially having that much health at your disposal goes a huge way. A little bit less useful with all the Tormentors in late game, but the extreme damage makes up for it at the very least, and perfect. Let's start with you, and then we'll launch our own. Definitely don't want any convocations coming in if we can help it here. And more nameless horrors. Ooh, fantastic. Let's see, what all will come through this door. No matter what comes through that door, you will hold your ground. Oh geez. Well, this is getting a bit fraught with danger, a bit faster than I would like. Should be able to kill one of you, probably two. You know, if we could roll to save our lives here. Unfortunately, doesn't seem to be the case. At least walking through the doorway reduces the impact our new friends can have. And in fact, a little bit of distraction definitely goes a long way towards helping us out. And with that, we can just walk away from our problems long enough to bring a friend back into the mix. Beautiful. And again, we're succeeding in the Spellforge Servitor way more often than I would have expected based on the failure rate. So that's interesting, to say the least. Probably good, all things considered. But the human brain is pretty good at not paying attention to actual logic when it comes to random chance, and instead coming up with all sorts of fun and exciting value judgments in that regard. We'll walk into this little grouping here, because if I can hit all of them with some irradiates, that's wonderful. I think you're down to, okay, 0% chance to banishment still. That's good. Definitely don't want to find ourselves in any kind of a nasty situation there, unless we absolutely have to. And geez Louise, my friend, you are a persistent one. There we go.